When the verdict in the O.J. Simpson trial came down, News Channel 13 was there to give you the most concise and comprehensive coverage.
We did see a split in the reaction in our community. We went to Arbor Hill.
We love you, O.J!
And to the Wilton Mall.
O.J. Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder.
Chris Brunner was with the panel of 25 years from now, perhaps. Future prosecutors and defense attorneys gathered in a student lounge at the Albany Law School at the fateful hour.
The people who jammed this room had their opinions, and they had a 50% chance of being right.
While polls from coast to coast were showing a majority predicting guilt for Simpson, this social studies class at Pittsfield High School had a different view.
Not guilty of the crime of murder.
June 17, 1994, LA police chased a white Ford Bronco and 95 million people were glued to their TVs watching it live. Inside, football great O.J. Simpson, now the prime suspect in the murders days earlier of ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman. Simpson was eventually caught, but the strong accusations left fans in shock nationwide. The Capital Region, no exception, as Elaine Houston quickly found out.
People here in the Capital District watched in horror as O.J. crouched down in the back of a white truck, fled from authorities on a California highway. And their reaction? It's just not the O.J., not the juice that they're used to.
I think he's innocent until proven guilty, and should get a fair shake, like every other American.
It don't seem like that's O.J. Simpson. It's very sad. I don't know what got over to him. I mean, it's very sad. I don't know.
What followed was nicknamed the trial of the century.
We are watching the first day of the preliminary hearing.
But many, like people in Albany, already made up their minds.
Guilty.
Innocent.
Innocent.
Guilty. Innocent.
Some tried to cash in. O.J. Simpson rookie cards were exploding in value at this Del Mar sports card shop and across the country.
Now the card we hear in the Northeast here is running for about $700 to $900, and in the West Coast the demand is so high they're at about 10 times the value, $1,400.
These people gathered at an Albany sports bar to watch. Believe it or not, they quickly found it rather dull.
The Capital Region, like all of America, has been captivated by the O.J. Simpson case until it got to the courtroom. Today, an hour of arguing over how many hairs make a proper sample emptied the stadium.
They were interested when it first came on, rehashing everything that was going on, but once the court case came on, all the legal terms and whatnot, people started to find it boring.
But in the end, the gavel-to-gavel coverage was must-see TV for many, even a real-life soap opera for some. Months later, the jury reached a decision, but in a real-life cliffhanger, they said they would not announce it until 1 p.m. Eastern the next day, October 3rd, 1995. 16 months after the Bronco chase, with no smartphones and the internet barely a glimmer, the daily grind froze as people gathered for the must-see verdict. Shoppers and employees at the Wilton Mall Sears flocked to the TV section, where the verdict was on every screen.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of...
Many looked stunned and in disbelief as that verdict came down.
I thought they made the wrong decision.
Justice was not served here.
I don't believe so.
If it were somebody of lesser means, like say myself, I'd already been in jail with the key thrown away.
However, Simpson had at least one supporter in the store.
I really don't think the man killed her. I don't think he's capable of that kind of thing.
O.J. not guilty! Yes! The verdict is in! Yes!
Many people in Albany's predominantly black Arbor Hill celebrated in a big way.
Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder.
I know it! Told you! Juice is loose! We love you, O.J!
But not everyone was happy.
This is a gross miscarriage of justice. I totally can't believe that they let this man go. And I feel that probably the only reason why is because of the bumbling idiots at the LAPD.
They shall be found innocent.
The day even stopped in public schools, where these teens studying our government got a real-life dose of the federal justice system.
Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder.
I thought he was going to be found guilty, but I guess not.
You thought he was going to be found guilty? Why?
Well, if he wasn't guilty, then they wouldn't have all this evidence.
I knew he was going to be innocent because even if he was guilty, the way that the police messed up on the case, and I just thought he would be innocent. I mean, it was a little surprising that everyone thought he was going to be guilty, but he was innocent.
You thought there was reasonable doubt?
Yes.
I knew he was not guilty because the evidence, because with the DNA, it wasn't conclusive. It wasn't conclusive, and I just knew it all along.
Albany law students crammed into a tiny lounge with a tiny TV for the verdict, but nothing was small about their opinions. Chris Bruner reports.
The people who jammed this room had their opinions, and they had a 50% chance of being right.
I'd say not guilty.
My prediction is guilty.
All right, Mr. Simpson, would you please stand and face the jury?
Law students shushed each other as the moment arrived.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson.
First-year law student Claudia Miranda says maybe he did it and maybe he didn't, but
I was part of the cheer only because I don't think that it was a clean investigation. It wasn't. It was very sloppy, and it wasn't a good showing of what the American justice system is supposed to be like.
I think it's a very scary commentary on today's society, and it kind of makes us as law students look bad because a lot of people have seen the lawyers in this case and really believe that it was simply the lawyers that got him off.
Well, the defense raised reasonable doubt in terms of the murder. They have no tangible proof that O.J. committed these crimes, and I would like to say I do still feel sorry for the victims.
Then there were the college football players at UAlbany. Many looked up to O.J. Simpson as a role model before he was arrested. They said they still thought highly of him. Their assistant coach, not so much. Roger Weiland reports.
I was happy for O.J., basically. All along I thought, this was a great football player. He was a great man, did a lot for the community.
Definitely, he's a role model. Just the way he stuck in there during the trial. I mean, he kept his cool most of the way. I mean, it had to be like a real emotional thing for him.
John Reagan is an assistant at Albany, former standout center at Syracuse, and he had a different take on O.J., the role model.
Now knowing more about it, as an overall role model, I think a lot of people would question that.
Eddie Williams grew up in Batavia near Buffalo. He said that city would be ecstatic with the verdict.
I believe they stuck with O.J. They still have his number up in the stadium. They'll be behind him 100%.
Roger Wada, News Channel 13.
Nearly 30 years later, the verdict continues to divide the nation. O.J. Simpson was found civilly liable for the double homicide 2 years later. He later served 9 years in prison, but for a separate robbery before being paroled in 2017. Simpson died of cancer back in April, a free man. He was 76. For more coverage of past news events, head to our News Channel 13 YouTube page and click on News Vault 13. For now, opening News Vault 13, I'm Rachel Teedy.